The European Union is committed to leading this new era. Our methane regulation establishes clear obligations for monitoring, reporting, and reducing emissions in natural gas as well as oil and coal. The EU is very happy to have partnered with the Alliance, which was instrumental in getting the transition away from fossil fuels adopted at COP28.
European Commissioner for Energy and Housing Dan Jørgensen delivered a firm call for global action during the high-level dialogue on the transition away from fossil fuels at COP30 in Belém, Brazil. Speaking on the 15th of November 2025, Jørgensen warned that the world is entering yet another record-breaking year of heat, stressing that the climate crisis is accelerating faster than expected. He highlighted that the landmark decision at COP28 to transition away from fossil fuels marked not the beginning of the end, but the end of the beginning, signaling a shift from discussion to concrete implementation.
Dear friends, the transition away from fossil fuels has never been more urgent. Last year was the hottest year ever recorded. This year will be even hotter, and most likely, unfortunately, next year will be hotter again. That is why the decision we took together 2 years ago at COP28 was so important. Some say that paragraph 28 of the global stocktake marked the beginning of the end of the fossil fuel era. But in reality, it was the end of the beginning. It was the end of the first phase of discussions and the beginning of a new era for action. The European Union is committed to leading this new era. We've updated our NDC with an indicative contribution of 66.25% to 72.5% for 2025, 35, and the path towards carbon neutrality by 2050. This shows our ambition and builds on the agreed net emissions reduction targets of 90% by 2040 compared to 1990. We are already making strong progress. EU fossil fuel demand is decreasing. Natural gas demand has gone from 500 BCM in 2019 to 300 BCM in 2024. This is projected to further decrease by 35 to 50% in 2030 and 50 to 70% in 2040. Our transition away from fossil fuels also covers emissions, ensuring that the diminishing quantities of fossil fuels we import are as clean as possible. Our methane regulation establishes clear obligations for monitoring, reporting, and reducing emissions in natural gas as well as oil and coal. And it is the first in the world to regulate emissions from imports. We know that Europe's phase-out of fossil fuels will impact our current suppliers, and we are committed to honoring our word at COP28 to work closely with all partners towards a just transition. For example, our TMED program supports countries in North Africa and the Mediterranean to boost investments in solar, wind, and green hydrogen, offering new economic opportunities and a more secure future. However, to deliver a true just transition across the globe, we need true global efforts. The EU therefore strongly welcomes the idea for a roadmap being discussed at the COP at the initiative of President Lula. Let me offer you a few ideas in that regard. It should be bottom-up and building on the measures already put forward by some governments in their NDCs, as well as best practice collected by alliances and coalitions such as BOGA. It should provide clear guidance to governments on steps that can be taken in the run-up to the next global stocktake in 2028 and beyond. It should be grounded in the best available science and data, which can be used to reinforce the plans, policies, and regulations that parties are implementing. It should be action and solution-oriented, outlining practical measures and meaningful partnerships that can make a tangible difference on the ground and in our atmosphere. While the path must be led by the parties, We see the Beyond Oil and Gas Alliance at the very core of this process. The EU is very happy to have partnered with the alliance, which was instrumental in getting the transition away from fossil fuels adopted at COP28. And personally, I'm very proud that an alliance we in Denmark helped to establish 4 years ago has grown into a globally significant platform that drives and delivers international negotiations, momentum and results. So, dear friends, paragraph 28 of the Global Stocktake contains a little over 200 words, but we can sum it up in just 5. There is no going back. Never in the field of human history have so many depended on so few words. It is now our duty to translate these words into action. Thank you.